It's probably not bad for you to gamble. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, this week I'd like to take you back to 1988.
Okay.
It was 1988. I think it was 1988. I probably should have looked it up before we started talking, but I'm going to go from my memory. 1988, a little film in theaters, hit theaters, starring one adorable American icon, the cigar-wielding George Burns.
18 again.
I'm talking to you about the American classic 18 again, Anthony.
Now, Jeff, why would you have said a 1988 movie starring George Burns and I immediately said 18 again? Do you know why, Jeff?
There's only one. What other George Burns movie is there?
There's Oh God.
Oh, there is Oh God. Oh God, You Devil is the sequel.
Is the sequel starring the dad from Blossom who wants to be the world's greatest piano player. And why do I know that? And why do I know 18 again? Jeff, I'll tell you why.
Is it a delight?
Because in the early days of cable television, there were only like 4 movies they would show.
Right.
I saw 18 again probably 1,000 times. I don't even like the film 18 again very much. It stars that kid who like was the low cost version of Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah. Yes.
He was also television. He was also television's Ferris Bueller, not the movie Ferris Bueller. He was television's Ferris Bueller when they made the TV show.
I think his name is Charlie
Schlatter. And this is not to denigrate Charlie Schlatter, whoever he is, wherever he may be, whatever he's doing now. He's a good actor. He was a charming guy, but he was definitely like, we didn't get Dempsey. We're tagging you in. We didn't get a Corey. In you go.
Yeah.
And
hey, you know what? Good career if you can get it, I say.
That's what I'm saying. Because if you think about the 80s, it was Corey's and Dempsey's all the way down.
All the way down. What is a Charlie to do?
Well, I'll tell you what a Charlie's to do. Charlie's to do what I've done my entire career, which is like, oh, you couldn't get that big host? That's a shame. What a shame that big host isn't around.
You know what they say? The best ability is availability.
That's right. And baby, I'm always avail. So Charlie
right here. Yeah.
Charlie Schlatter, this was a good film. Charlie Schlatter was also in another film that was on cable TV all the time, which was called All American Murder, which was also good. Where he was framed for a murder he didn't commit. It was very good.
Man?
Huh?
By a one-armed man?
Nah, it was a different. I forget how it ends, but I'll tell you this. Well, 18 again is great because it's a body swap movie.
Yeah, the subgenre, the Freaky Fridays. Your what's the
Vice
one
Versa?
Vice Versa. Yes, that's the Kirk Cameron one, right?
I believe Vice Versa is the Kirk Cameron one. Yes.
Yeah. Just a whole subgenre of the body swap movie. We're not talking about body swapping, but we're talking about that desire this week.
Oh yeah, this is a science podcast.
Yeah, I wish we were talking about body swapping in the science podcast. That'd be rad if we figured that out.
Look, I'm going to tell you this.
Swap with?
Who would I swap with?
Yeah. I mean, George Burns is not available anymore. So
no, and also George Burns is not your choice. It was George Burns' choice to be 18 again.
That's right. He wanted to be 18 again. But the kid got to be George Burns.
You don't want to be George Burns. You're an 80. The whole point of that movie was an 81-year-old man who was very sick switched with the 18-year-old boy, and they had to switch back before the 81-year-old body died.
That's right. That is the plot of that movie.
You do not want to swap with
swap into the death body. Don't
swap into a death body. That's rule number 1.
Yeah.
You don't swap into a death body. No, I think. Look. Optimally, here's what I would say. If we're doing this the way we should be doing this, and this is a shame, but this is how I would do it. Clone of me.
Clone of you. Younger version of you.
At this point, if we're doing body swap, I would have to imagine we can also clone.
Well, you've made an assumption that is not necessarily true.
What's the harder technology? We're already cloning stuff.
The given circumstance here is body swap tech is cool. There's no young Anthony's running around necessarily, you know?
What about a young Sheldon?
The problem is, here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem.
Wednesdays at 8 on CBS, I think.
Young Anthony.
It's good. There's no laugh track. There's no laugh track, and it tugs at your heartstrings a little bit more.
He is a scamp.
Yeah.
Real scamp. Here's the problem with this whole notion of the body swapping, which is, by the way, not the topic we're talking about.
Oh, right. Today, this is a science podcast.
Yeah. No, but here's the problem is that for my whole life, I thought about this in the terms of the younger person going into the older person. And here I am now going the body swap. I'd go down to the younger person. I've gotten to the point where I am looking, I'm the upper edge of that bookend.
You're Jamie Lee Curtis now.
I am. I'm Jamie. I'm whoever Cook Cameron swapped with.
I believe it. Was it Alan Thicke? Was it his TV dad?
No, I think it was Judge Reinhold.
It was Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
It was Judge Reinhold. So here's the thing, Jeff.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about all this. If you're the younger person and you go older, it's a fun lesson about what life is, and it grows you up a little bit, and it gives you a little bit of perspective, right? If you're the older person, the whole idea is like you're supposed to remember what it was like to be a kid and to have fun. Here's the problem with those movies. They're presupposing we don't remember that and we don't want it.
We don't yearn for it every second of every day.
They're presupposing that I don't want the fun and the extra time.
Yeah.
That's what they're presupposing.
You need a lesson to learn that. You need to be shown. You need a Christmas Carol like visitation of three ghosts in order to understand how great it was to be young.
Well, here's the other thing: is all of those movies are about some adult that's like you're saying is straight laced and too business and too whatever.
Right.
Baby, I had 6 cookies for dinner last night.
You are 18 again.
You don't need to tell me. What I want is to have 6 cookies for dinner and wake up feeling like I had oatmeal and lean chicken. You know what I mean? That's the 18 again promise. And that's why with the body swap, Jeff, I can't ethically do it. I can't. When you say who would you switch with, I can't do that.
Body is what you're saying. You're ruining some young person's body.
I couldn't. Well, because like, what am I going to take over their life? That's mean. What are they going to take over my life? That's horrible. Don't do that to some 18-year-old kid. You don't want to do that. There's nobody that doesn't get hurt, is what I'm saying in real life. If you do the body swap,
that's the truth.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lose-lose.
The cloning technology needs to exist, and it needs to be a body that like we can gently put old me into a medical coma, put old me brain into young me body, wake up, it's me. Old me body, never wake up, no one get hurt. Clone never had any moments of self-awareness. Clone was never awake.
It was never not old you.
Simply empty body whole time.
Yeah. Just a vessel.
Yes.
All right. The reason I brought up 18 again, as much as I appreciate.
Let's talk about the movies of George Burns for about 20 more minutes. Let's talk about it.
We got a story that was posted on our Discord, which you can post on. You can visit. You can see all the stories we didn't choose if you become a patron over at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. It only costs $1 a month. That's $12 for an entire year of hanging out and looking at cool stories in the Discord that people are posting. It's really awesome.
You could do anything on the Discord except give us feedback about our tight show opens.
That's right.
That's the only thing you're not allowed to do. It's listed in the rules of the Discord specifically.
Read the EULA. That's all I have to say. This was posted by Spielberg Newfer, our friend. Great poster of stories.
Yes.
This is a fascinating tale of someone who is attempting to be 18 again, not by body swapping, not by clone technology, but doing it today, right now, for real. I want to tell you the tale of one Brian Johnson,
Jeff,
age 45.
I just brought up, if people are watching the video version, I just brought up the headline to this, and it says, how to be 18 years old again for only $2 million a year.
That's right. The low price of $2 million a year is what Brian Johnson, age 45. The reason he has this kind of cash, memorable name, but he is a person that I know you and I have read about before because Brian Johnson created Braintree, the payment solution that was purchased by eBay for $800 million in 2013. So
wow.
this dude is your classic tech millionaire. He was a young guy, created a company, sold
always
it in
a
his
tech
30s.
millionaire. It's always a tech millionaire. It's your Peter Thiel's like trying to drink young people blood or whatever.
Mm-hmm. This is that story writ large. We're about to get it.
He looks like the Charlie Schlatter version of Eric Stoltz.
He does look like Eric Stoltz.
He looks like if Eric Stoltz didn't get the movie, he got the call.
Yeah. Yes. But you know what he doesn't look like in that picture, Anthony?
What?
A 45-year-old. And let me tell you why. Because that does not look like a 45-year-old to me.
Well, you haven't been, you moved away from LA a couple years ago. So you don't remember that there are 45-year-olds walking around LA looking like this, but
maybe
not most people. You're right.
This one, look at this. Look straight ahead in your camera. Look at that. See that?
Yeah.
That's a 45-year-old. Okay. Not pretty. Mr. Brian Johnson has spent, well, he's got $800 million. He doesn't have to work.
Oh, okay.
He has decided that his goal in life is to turn his 45-year-old body, organ by organ, into an 18-year-old again.
There's no way this is ethical, and there's no way he's doing it in an ethical way.
Well, yes, maybe that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is he's doing that thing we like, which is experimenting on yourself.
Look, experimenting on yourself is fine, actually, as long as he's not like taking things from other people. You know what I mean? Like,
we'll get into it.
All right.
We'll get into it. Okay. So this is your classic Marvel supervillain. This is your classic gentleman scientist.
Sure.
This is the guy who's like, I'll prove to the world that this is possible by doing it to myself.
Okay.
This is every Spider-Man fiend, every arch villain that Spider-Man has to face.
Sure. Specifically the comic book version of the Vulture.
Vulture, the Lizard.
Yeah, the Lizard. I'm thinking about aging in particular is the Vulture, but you're right. The Lizard, even Morbius. There's a lot of man, let me tell you something. In the Spider-Man universe, would be
all science gone wrong.
Would be without supervillains if they would just wait the 8 weeks for funding. Do you know what I mean? If at any point in the Spider-Man universe somebody said, it was like, these experiments seem unethical and we just need to wait for the board to look at it. I don't have time for the board to look at it. Why? Right. What are you doing? This is your entire life's work. What do you have going on that's so important that you can't be doing this in 4 weeks? Well, I have my kid's got a recital and it takes all week. In 4 weeks, you don't have an hour. This is your life's work. You don't have I've got dry cleaning to pick up and, the dentist. And you know how hard it is to reschedule a dentist appointment. And it's like,
can't we just wait for FDA approval, doctor?
No, it's because I have to get a crown. That's a special dentist.
Yeah. There would be no villains. There would be no Spider-Man. Wouldn't have to worry about anybody.
It's just so easy. It's just like, hey, man. Hey, Norman Osborn, you're already a billionaire scientist. The super serum is about done. If you wait 4 weeks, you won't have to experiment on yourself. Why don't you take your $1 billion and fucking fuck off for a week? Just do
what's the worst that could happen? I turn into a giant green ghoul? That'd be possible.
Just spend your billions having fun for a week.
Yeah. Well, that is not what Brian Johnson has done.
That's why Spider-Man is so realistic to me and to everybody, is because these people won't just take 4 weeks.
No.
They want the money now, even though they have all the money.
Brian Johnson has created something called Project Blueprint, which is a full-time, full-body regimen that is the goal of which is to create a blueprint of how to stop aging, to anti-age.
Okay.
And, like you said, we've heard a lot of these tech millionaires, billionaires do stuff like this.
Sure.
They talk about, you drink the bee pollen and you microdose and you all the different things. This is not that.
And can I say something else about that, which is we hear a lot about these billionaires doing it and we go, oh, these guys, they're the weirdest, most terrible people. Anybody who is in the public eye, who is very wealthy, is doing some of this stuff. If you're a movie star, if you're an athlete, if you're on television, if you're any kind of look at pictures of Bezos or Elon from 15 years ago and today. Look at the juxtaposition of those guys. And I mean, for some of these people, it's part of their career, right? Like if you're a movie star, you're trying to look the same for as long as possible. If you're an athlete.
Yeah, if you talk about Tom Brady or LeBron, these guys who are doing things in their late 30s and 40s that were impossible 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. That it's because of stuff like this. It's because of advancements in science.
They're sleeping under red lights and in hyperbaric chambers and like living at low pressure, high pressure and doing all this stuff. Like,
yeah, Djokovic, the tennis player, he talks to his water.
Weird Al?
Yes. He's
Weird Al Djokovic talks to his water?
Yeah, we tell him to just eat it, just take the water and eat it, and he won't.
Well, number one, it's a liquid.
Well, that's a good point. No, but so I want to stress to you, and we're going to step through the extremity to which Mr. Johnson is doing this, but I want to express to you how different this is than anything we've ever talked about before. Those people are like, hey, you should do these one or two things. You should have these supplements. You should do this thing. Brian Johnson is living a life that is untenable to most humans. As you mentioned, the headline is $2 million a year just on his body. He has transformed his entire existence into maximizing this process. He has testing. We're going to get into all of it, but it is ridiculous. So what the goal of this process is to track across all his organs, his brain, heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, tendons, teeth, skin, hair, bladder, penis, and rectum. Those are the
five food groups.
Yes, those are the points of measurement that they're using. The areas of the body they are measuring constantly, incessantly. He is going through massive amounts of analysis, of testing, of record keeping to determine the progress on this course of action.
Okay.
So here's what he does.
He's got a penis graph at home.
Yeah. No, he hooks up to a machine that measures the number of erections he has while he's sleeping to see if it's closer to what an 18-year-old.
Do you think it's more or less than the number of spiders he eats in a year?
Just on purpose or just the way we all eat spiders in a year? Because
I have a feeling this guy's eating a lot of spiders. I'm not talking about they're crawling into his mouth when he sleeps. I'm saying this guy looks probably eating a lot of spiders just because he wants to.
This dude is a Spider-Man supervillain. There's nothing like literally he is a comic book character. So let me tell you where he's gotten so far. Okay. He has body fat between 5% and 6% at all time.
No big deal. Me too.
Tests showed that he's reduced his overall biological age by at least 5 years.
Okay.
And results suggest that he has the heart of a 37-year-old. He's 45.
Okay.
The skin of a 28-year-old. And the lung capacity and fitness of an 18-year-old.
I bet he's got the skin of a 27-year-old in a fucking jar. is under his bed. He's got the skin of a 27-year-old and he wears it like a suit, this guy. Allegedly. I got to say allegedly, because now we're talking about a real billionaire. Podcasts.
Yeah. Here's what's laudable about this. I know that you're going to mock this guy, and he
he deserves it.
He's talked about how like people think this is very strange, and we're going to get into how strange it is, and it is. He admits that this is not tenable for most humans, but also his whole thing is completely transparent. They post all the data on the site, on his website. There's like this 2-hour video that I watched that steps through. He and his team of doctors, he has 30 doctors under his employ. He has converted his home into a medical facility because the testing that they do on him is not possible except in the most high-tech medical facilities. He does testing, rigorous, harmful, like testing that is painful and excruciating to endure daily, to test this and post it all the data on his website so people can follow along.
Oh, sure. He's posting. Yeah, he's doing it all so people have the data. That's why he's doing it. He's doing it for the good of all of us. He wants us to have the data, which is why he's doing this. And he's definitely not scared, and he's definitely not lonely. And when he does age, he's definitely not going to terrify the shit out of him.
Well,
he's definitely got a regular, well-rounded life. Yeah. Full of people who support him. He's definitely going out of all those doctors. I bet so many of them are psychiatrists and psychologists and people who are dedicated to his mental and emotional health. And he's probably doing fine, is what I bet. Thank God he's doing all this to get us the data, is what I'm saying.
Yes, very selfless of him.
Yeah.
So his goal is to have the body of and organs, the internal structure that would be measured equivalent to an 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. His lead doctor, this guy, Dr. Zolman, who's kind of heading up this Project Blueprint, says that if you could get someone who is measurable in all those organs, just as a 35-year-old as opposed to a 45-year-old, if you could just have a 10-year shift in measurable, fitness for your body. It would be revolutionary. No human has ever achieved that.
Sure. And it would only cost you $20 million and all day, every day of those 10 years.
But these are things that theoretically, if he proves it's possible, could go down in price over the course of time. Mm-hmm. Or you could pick and choose things that are most effective. And so he's throwing everything at the wall. Or case, at his body. And
the billionaires definitely want us to have the technology to live forever. They definitely want us to have that. They want it to trickle down. Yeah.
Well, be that as it may, I think this is a remarkably intense way of living. Let me tell you what he does. Let me tell you what he does. We can start with his daily routine. Each morning, he wakes up at 5 a.m. and he starts by taking 24 supplements and medicines.
Okay.
I could list them for you. He's got stuff.
Any weird ones?
They're all weird ones, Anthony. All of them are weird ones.
I'll come back. Don't worry about me.
Okay. There's stuff for artery and skin health. There's stuff to prevent bowel polyps. There's stuff for liver enzymes and to reduce inflammation. There's brain health stuff. 20 different 24 So 24 supplements and medicines every single day, 5 a.m. Then he has an hour-long workout consisting of 25 different exercises and a green juice packed with creatine, collagen peptides, all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll get to his diet later, but his diet is, you can imagine, predictably bonkers.
Did he have 6 cookies for dinner last night? I don't think so. I don't think so. So after he eats, he brushes his teeth, water picks, flosses before rinsing, and then does tea tree oil and antioxidant gel. And his doctors say he has the gum inflammation of a 17-year-old. Beautiful gums, Anthony. I'm talking picture perfect oral hygiene. And I mean, that's probably what he's in it for, right? It's probably like, if you're in it for anything, it's for the gum health of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what we all dream of. When we think about being young, we think gum health.
That's that whole part when George Burns, you know, he goes into Charlie's body and he looks in the mirror for the first time and he smiles and he's like, look at these glorious gums.
And then he sings the famous musical number, Gums, Glorious Gums.
Exactly. It's an amazing moment in the movie.
Yeah.
So to repair the damage to his skin, he applies 7 daily creams. He gets weekly acid peels and laser therapy. He stays out of the sun. He had hearing damage that he suffered in childhood because he went on hunting trips in Utah. And he is trying to improve the hearing in his left ear with sound therapy, which tests the limits of frequencies he can hear and then produces inaudible sounds to stimulate the cells in his ear and brain, which Stanford University studies say has been effective in restoring or improving hearing in folks that already can hear. It's not, going to cure deafness, but
right. Well, that's exciting.
Here's what there's some important things he does not do that you've probably heard people talk about. He does not give himself high doses of testosterone.
Okay.
He does not take ice baths or anything like that we've heard about.
He's not up on that human growth hormone?
No. But the measuring, the data collection that they do on his body, he does 10 or more different measurements for each organ. And I read you off the list of organs. So 10, some of them very painful.
Sure.
That he does. For the brain, he does MRIs, ultrasounds to track blood flow, tissue volume. He does, they measure the scarring, swelling, and plaque growth in his cerebrum. They do cognitive ability tests and blood draws. They say the even the administering of the tests, let alone, just setting up the tests themselves is arduous because the hardware required only billionaires can afford. This is stuff that you can only find in the most high tech of hospitals. Mm-hmm. He's taken 33,537 images of his bowels.
That's a lot of images of your bowels. That's probably like 537. I feel like whatever you're going to find out about your bowels, you can probably get 535 images in.
I said 33,537.
I'm sorry,
33,537 images.
So that's
30,000 more than you thought I was saying.
That's 33,002 more than you need is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't mishear. I'm just saying it's 33,002 more than you need.
Yes. He's discovered that his eyelashes are shorter than average.
What does that mean? What does that matter?
It's to prove how granular they've gotten on the measuring and analysis of his body composition. It is down to the point where he knows that his eyelashes are shorter than average. He's probed the thickness of his carotid artery.
Okay.
And he blasts. This is the one that's amazing. He blasts his pelvic floor with electromagnetic pulses to improve muscle tone in his penis.
What?
And then counts his nighttime erections.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. What?
He measures his weight, his body mass index, his body fat, his waking body temperature, his blood glucose, his heart rate variations, oxygen levels while sleeping. He has a constant stream of blood, stool, and urine tests, whole body MRIs, ultrasounds, regular tests aimed at his kidneys, his prostate, his thyroid, his nervous system. He is constantly monitoring his body at every organ level.
I want you to go back to the penis imaging. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'd like to discuss the in-depth penis imaging.
They say he has the penis of a teenager. A teenager's penis.
What does that mean?
I mean, we've all been a teenager, right? You remember how many erections you got as a teenager?
I don't. Okay. Like, all right. And then, so what?
So mission accomplished, at least in one organ. One organ down is what I'm saying. In this case, up. But you know what I mean. One organ down.
I don't. Okay.
In this case, up. Like a lot. Frequently up.
Just mostly up.
Mostly, constantly up.
Okay. Sure.
So there have been some negative moments in this experience.
No.
You're going to be shocked to learn that there have been some downsides in putting your body through this insane regimen.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. So at one point, his body fat fell to 3%, which
that's
basically,
too little.
That basically means his heart doesn't work.
Yeah, that's too small. How do you have 30 doctors watching you and everything you eat and everything you do every day and get down to 3% body fat without somebody going, hey, my guy?
Too far. You went too far.
Hey, my guy, we're going to need to take this up a little bit.
Yeah. He, the author of, by the way, this is from an article on Bloomberg.
That's a legitimate question, though. Where were these doctors if he has them watching every day?
Well, I mean, I think that they saw that it went to the 3%. And they went, okay, we got to change it. He was having all his calories at breakfast. They had 55,000 images of his bowels.
They didn't say when he got to 4%, hey, bud.
Yeah, it's a little too low.
Or 5%. They were just like, we need to keep it right here, pal.
He's always at 5 to 6% body fat.
Yeah. He only had 27 doctors watching him all day then.
There's 3 that took a day off. That was, they were the body fat percentage people.
Yeah.
So the author of this article on Bloomberg talks about coming to visit him, and
don't do it.
In Venice, he lives in Venice, by the way.
Of course he does. We're talking California, not Italy.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Venice, California.
Yeah. Of course he does.
In a compound that has been turned into a medical facility.
Of course.
Yeah. So Ashley Vance is the author of this article on Bloomberg. Ashley went to his residence. When Ashley showed up in front of his house, he texted her saying, I might beware. I might look a little strange. The door opens.
This is some Dracula shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100% Dracula shit. Door opens. Face is face is off. He looks like Nicolas Cage or John Travolta. You pick. His face is puffy, like he'd been stung by 1,000 bees. Like a horrible puffy face that was also pristine and glowing, and quote, could be mistaken for a big swollen porcelain doll.
Oh my God.
So evidently what he had been doing was the first in a series of injections into his face that were designed to build fat scaffolding to produce young person fat cells.
Oh, buddy.
So evidently this is just the first in a series of injections he's going to do that would take a few months to build the fat scaffolding and then regenerate, actually create new fat in his face on its own, so that when they do these multispectral imaging of his face, it will look like he has an 18-year-old's fat cells in his face.
It's, oh my God. Okay. So we've talked about similar technology to this in like the rebuilding of heart scaffolding and things like that.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. When we're talking about rebuilding heart scaffolding for people with heart problems, so they have a healthy, normal heart, and we don't have to harvest organs from donors and find correct matches and things like that. That's something. When you're telling me that this dude is in the middle of months of looking like a Dracula.
Yeah.
Just so he'll have more face fat at the end. And he'll probably have to do this over and over.
Over and over. And check this out. They say that early adopters of this procedure, which is, kind of not been done a lot.
Sure.
That the earlier adopters, generally speaking, take fat cells from other parts of their body and inject it into their face. That's how the procedure is done.
Yes.
He doesn't have enough body fat to do that.
Where does he get the fat from?
Quote,
No.
an undisclosed donor.
There it is.
There it is. That's the thing you've been waiting for.
There it
Anthony.
is. There it is. No ethical immortality under capitalism. There it is. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog always said. Look, Jeff, this man doesn't just look like a Dracula. He is a Dracula, Jeff.
He's a Dracula.
He's a Dracula.
So just to be clear, this is the goal of that procedure is to restore young fat level distribution throughout the entire body, not just in the face.
Okay.
So you have less toxic compounds being secreted that affect the rest of the body.
Sure.
And then you have better heat control. You're more like an 18-year-old.
This
is the level to which
take a young person's blood, and then he
Yeah.
won't have the bad blood, and the bad blood things that happen with bad blood don't happen in your body anymore.
I mean, this is, I feel like this is far beyond just blood. He's
No,
doing
of course
stuff,
it is.
They say his next,
Because it's
next level,
gross.
he's going to, sort of experimental procedures like gene therapies. There's no level to which this guy won't go, it seems.
Of course not.
I want to tell you about his menu that he eats.
Please do. I'd love to hear about it.
He has something called nutty pudding, which consists of almond milk, macadamia nuts, walnuts, flaxseed, half a Brazil nut, sunflower, lecithin, cinnamon, cherries, blueberries, raspberries, and pomegranate juice.
That doesn't sound
This is
too
like
bad.
on the yummy side.
Yeah, I
on
like that.
On the disgusting side, there is black lentils, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, garlic, ginger root, lime, cumin, apple cider vinegar, hemp seeds, and olive oil, which are then ground up and blended into a dirt paste.
Dirt paste.
And then for dessert, chocolate.
Yeah.
But not just any chocolate, of course. Chocolate, they say, you can say chocolate's good for you. But Brian Johnson says, well, the next layer is dark chocolate is better for you. But then you find out there's this thing called the Dutching process that some people do to chocolate, where you alkalize it. You take away the bitterness of dark chocolate, so it tastes better. It's more palatable to more people. You don't want to do that. It ruins the value of the dark chocolate. So you want to find non-Dutched dark chocolate.
Right.
Then you want to test that for heavy metals. And then you want
gotta test it for heavy metals.
Then you want chocolate from regions of the world that have the highest concentrate of polyphenols, which is what you're trying to get out of the chocolate.
Gotta have that.
And if
better do a soil composition test of the entire world.
This is the extremity to which this dude is dealing with literally everything that goes into his body.
This guy's had people killed. No, now I'm just going to go. No, now listen, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Allegedly, this guy, if you will go to the lengths that you are willing to test the soil of the entire planet to get the worst tasting chocolate, you have no problem killing somebody who gets in your way.
You're right. He's looking for the worst tasting chocolate. That's what his goal was, to find chocolate that tastes like butthole, Which he has tested rigorously 55,000 times. Exactly.
Now, this man has had somebody killed. And he's probably said
to harvest their face fat.
And he's probably said, look, he's probably been like, listen, I'm not going to, he didn't say it directly, but he definitely told, maybe he didn't do it directly, but he definitely pressured somebody into having somebody kill somebody for him. You know what I mean? Somebody was brought into his office and told in indirect terms that somebody needs to not be on the earth anymore. And that person was no longer on the earth. Now, did he kill that person? No, absolutely not. But did he kill that person, Jeff?
I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean, you're alleging is what's happening. You're alleging.
I'm alleging.
You single handedly are alleging. No one else has alleged this.
I'm taking this to a logical conclusion. I think this guy's got no qualms with anything that gets in the, yeah, that's the thing. He's got no qualms with anything, getting anything out of the way that's going to get in the way of his perfect life. Do you know what I mean?
Let me present an alternative viewpoint.
Sure.
What if this guy is the Wright brothers of anti-aging? What if Brian Johnson is walking so we can run? You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that he really is like, yes, he's getting something out of this, but he's really like, what if I could be the guy that figures out immortality for everyone?
I'm the first dude. I'm the test pilot. I'm the guy that's probably going to die because we never put anybody into space. I'm the guy who's testing the diving bell for the first time. I'm going underwater. We don't know what the bends are.
Yeah, but I'm going to get them and I'm going to die. And that's okay because now we're going to know what the bends are.
Because I'm the first dude and I'm figuring it all out. What if, Anthony, what if this is a backdoor Chronicles of a Badass?
Now, Jeff, I would say it's not so backdoor because all your Chronicles of a Badass are always about horrible people. Not badass, it's just terrible people. But I would also say that I would love for this to be true, but I'm going to Occam's razor this, and I'm going to say this is a man who has $800 million and has heard you can't take it with you and has been like, but it's mine.
He does have a son. He does have a son, a 17-year-old son.
Sure.
Named Talmadge.
Yeah, and I bet they've got a great relationship, him and Talmadge. Allegedly. I bet they have a great... How do you tell people that your dad is a Dracula? How do you tell people that you're like, listen, if you come over to, like, you don't bring people to the house. Talmadge isn't bringing people.
The lab?
Yeah, because there's no house left. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lab. There are 30 doctors running around in there. Talmadge doesn't live there.
No. Talmadge has got his own place that's a lot less weird, probably. We hope.
Oh, boy, Talmadge, buddy.
Talmadge is son of Dracula.
Talmadge, like, he's just like, man, everybody's like, why haven't we met your dad? It's like, well, if everything goes well, we'll graduate with him. You'll see him there.
Yeah, we've never met your dad, but we really love your younger brother. He's a little strange, but
it's just the Steve Buscemi gif. It's the Steve Buscemi with the rock band shirt.
Yeah. Hey, fellow teens.
Oh my God. How do you explain to your kid that you want to be your kid? Do you know what I mean?
That's a question.
Like that's a psychological thing. How do you sit down with your 17-year-old kid and say, like, I don't want to be your 55-year-old father. I want to be your 18-year-old father.
Tell me again about how your penis works.
Yeah. How many erections do you think you had last night? Can my doctors hook up your penis to the equipment? You're a minor, so I already signed off for you. So we're gonna do it. Listen, son, sit down, grab some nut paste. I'd like to talk about sticking an electrode in your rectum. For me,
pull up some dirt chocolate. You know,
yeah.
Come on,
son. Would you like some of the worst tasting chocolate in the world? We're very wealthy. We're very wealthy, and so we can have anything we want. I've got you the worst tasting chocolate in the world. I've decided not to enjoy this money with you, my son. I've decided to turn this house into a house of horrors.
He can't have time to do literally anything else with his life.
No, this is what he's doing. This is because you haven't even gotten into, which I'm sure there's a fitness regimen. There are probably very intense. He can't go out into direct sunlight. Yeah. He probably
wears gloves. He wears UV gloves. It is. You should see the stuff there's a 2-hour video I watched on YouTube. You should look it up, listeners, if you're interested. The stuff he does just for hair rejuvenation.
If you're really nice, we might even put the link in the description for you. If you're nice,
I mean, yeah. Nice. I mean,
a 2-hour hair treatment.
I don't know if I have conveyed how complete a life transformation this is that he hasn't undergone. So, like, I don't think there's a lot of daddy son time.
No. And my question is there an end goal, and does this stop? If he reaches the body of an 18-year-old, does he lay off for 40 years and then do this again when he's 50 again? Or does he believe that this is consistently his life and his routine until the end of time?
Well, he talks about how much he enjoys the process. So he like it. I mean, it sounds
he's a Dracula.
Absolutely horrific, but
this guy's a real fucking Dracula.
But what if Anthony? So here's what he's doing with all this data. As I said, it's being transparent about it, and he's set up something what he's calling the Rejuvenation Olympics. He goes, this is a quote from Brian Johnson. He says, quote, "If you say that you want to live forever or defeat aging, that's bad. It's a rich person thing. Yes. But if it's more akin to a professional sport, then it's entertainment. It has the virtues of establishing standards and protocols.
Did he really just bread and circuses us? Did this motherfucker really just say if you give the mob bread and circuses, they'll like what you're doing? Did he really just do this? Guy's a fucking Dracula.
He's established the Rejuvenation Olympics, which is trying to lay out his regimen, encourage people to try what he's doing or experiment in their own ways, and then post their data to see who's doing a better job of it.
Oh, can you pores get immortal faster than me? Let's find out. Hey, do you know what I like to call? I do a little something, and it's part of my regimen for living forever that I do. That's called the Secret Olympics. And what we do is we bring you all up into my house, and we bring you to my grounds on my compound, and I hunt you. And it rejuvenates me.
I'm sensing you don't trust this guy, Anthony. But what if he's changing the world for the better? What if he is literally the test pilot of immortality?
Let's ask Talmadge. You know what I mean? Let's call Talmadge. Let's get Talmadge Johnson on the phone and see how he feels about it.
In the article, it does say Talmadge is not down with the nut paste or the dirt goo.
Yeah, of course. I think that's coming from Brian's mouth. When he says, how does, when this reporter, when Ashley says, hey, how does Talmadge feel about what you're doing? Oh, he hates the dirt paste. That's not what I'm asking, Brian. I'm asking about human feelings and emotions right now, bud.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't like the paste. Is it just the paste? Is it just the paste, Brian? Hey, Brian.
As fellow 18-year-olds, we can relate to one another.
Yes.
Talmadge and I.
Talmadge and I talk about the music bands that we enjoy and watching the Tiki Talks together.
So if you're listening to this and you want to get in on the Rejuvenation Olympics, there is a blood test that is offered by a company called True Diagnostics LLC.
All you have to do is send your blood to Brian Johnson.
Just send your blood to Dracula. But it's not like that, Anthony. It's not like that. I don't know why you're drawing that conclusion from this.
We're just looking for your perfect blood.
If you want to send any face fat, they will also accept that.
If you want to sign any of these forms without reading them.
So True Diagnostics LLC will assess your rate of aging by looking at your genes and
you're sending
the hundreds
it to
of
True
thousands
Blood.
of points across your genetic
code. You're literally sending it to True Blood.
Oh boy. There's nothing shady about this. This guy is a hero. I'm telling you, the test pilot of immortality. He's doing the brave thing that none of us will do. What am I doing? You're having 6 cookies for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm eating a pint of ice cream after this as soon as possible.
We're the brave ones. Because Brian Johnson, he's doing everything he can to stay alone in his little hole, in his little cave, and live forever, but not touch anything with his UV gloves. It's such a freshman level creative writing exercise, the life that he's living. But let me tell you something. Jeff and I are hurtling towards our demise. We're the heroes.
Bravely into that great abyss.
We're the heroes. I had 6 cookies for dinner. I'll have another 6 cookies for dinner tonight. I don't give a shit.
We're lubricating our slippery slope to death with ice cream. That's what we're doing.
I'm enjoying my life. Enjoy your nut paste, bud. Sleeping with 30 electrodes on your penis. I only sleep with 25 electrodes on my penis, like a normal man.
Yes. I haven't had an erection in 15 years.
Don't want one. Eating cookies.
Who needs it?
Not useful.
You know how much more I get done without erections?
They don't help me eat cookies for dinner any faster.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
In fact, they slow me down.
I'm not playing Marvel Snap with an erection.
So 20,000 people who've taken the test at True Diagnostics for the 3 years it's been on the market.
Yeah.
1,750 people have repeated it to track their progress against aging. So there's at least 1,700 people, or 1,750 people who are part of the Rejuvenation Olympics, who are doing it. They're doing it. They're tracking. They're trying things and checking it out.
What's the average income of those people is what I want to know.
Probably a lot.
Probably a very lot of money.
True Diagnostics says no one so far has reduced their biological age as much as Brian Johnson.
USA, Transylvania.
I'm surprised, honestly, as much as you never want to die, Anthony, and as much as you are a fan of messing with your own biology to transcend this mortal coil, to transcend this shell of biological goop that we all are saddled with.
Yeah.
You're a fan of screw my body. I don't like this dumb body. I'm surprised that you're not more on board with what Brian is doing here.
Are you? Because for me, it's you're turning yourself over as a servant of the dumb body. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't go outside. He doesn't eat what he wants to eat. He's not living a life. It literally is the most freshman level fucking creative writing thing, right? The guy who can live forever, but by not having any kind of life. Like, oh, gee, we've really learned something from this parable. Like, my dude.
It does feel like a Twilight Zone episode.
It's not even like one of the good seasons, like one of the ones that was shot on video. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a season 7. Yeah. This is not the way to do it. And I understand what you're saying, which is like, by this guy doing it, we'll find better ways to do it. And here's what I have to say. Sacrifice as many billionaires as we need. You know, listen, as much as I'm like, I want to live forever, that's tenet number 1. What's like tenet alpha? Tenet alpha is sacrifice as many billionaires as we need.
That's a corollary.
Get rid of all of them. And if this guy wants
to win-win for you, then Anthony, this guy's a win-win.
Look, he's a Dracula. The lives of everybody, like his poor son and everything. Like, but for us, you're right. If I remove myself from this story and I say some billionaire is doing the dumbest shit to himself and releasing all the data, so we'll get some of that data, and it's really just a PR move for him, right? He's like, I'm doing this for the world. Whatever, bud. Whatever you say, whatever helps you in your lonely tower, I think that's great. We will take the information and we will laugh at you all the way down with your UV gloves and your mud chocolate and whatever you eat. But I would never do this. I would never do this.
I don't think there's no universe where I could do it either. But if there's like 2 or 3 things that you could take where it's like, you're not going to be 18, but it can result in it. You look at all this data and you go, what is the most effective stuff? You know, what are the things that are relatively doable and have good benefit? I feel like this guy is maybe going to yield some usable methodology.
For sure. And I feel like the transhumanism subreddit probably loves this dude, or the immortality subreddit probably loves this data. I mean,
the quantifiable self people. This guy is the poster child for quantifiable self.
Yeah, it's like if you're on a subreddit where they tell you to mix resveratrol and nicotine amides or whatever, and take 30 of those a day because we don't know, but we think maybe. Like, you love this guy.
This guy's like, measure your steps? Fuck you. How about 33,000 pictures of my asshole?
It's like, shit, this guy rules. This guy's dedicated. He's got 33,587 pictures of his asshole.
And they're all scrollable. Here.
You can look at them all. I'm charting. I've put it through. I put it into a chat GPT on my side. This is the people that we're talking about. It's like I put it through an AI on my side and hooked it to Google's media pipe, and we're gonna see what happens.
I mean, to be fair, Anthony, we're very, very related to those people. We're not that far away from those people.
No, but we're like cooler.
We're slightly more sane.
We're like cooler, like
slightly.
But here's what I do love is I love like the people who are in, like, I read a million things, but I read those subreddits, the like, you know, transhumanism and all this stuff, and like, where are we going? I love that stuff, mostly just as a curiosity, because I'm also like, these people are like me that are on that subreddit where they're like, yeah, man, you got to mix these two particular pills that like haven't been proven to do anything, but you can get them on Amazon and you can mix them and they're supposed to extend your life. But they're also eating 6 cookies a day for dinner. And like, here's what I can tell you, man. Take whatever supplements you want. If you're eating 6 cookies a day for dinner, I'll see you in hell. You know what I mean? Like, we're going. We're going, baby.
Man. The real question is like, is this dude going to live to be 200? You know, is he actually extending his lifespan, or is he having? I mean, it's hard to argue that he's having a better life. His life, it sounds like agony. Constant agony. Yeah,
that's the thing.
And joyless. Although he says he gets joy out of this process. But if you know, I think so the question isn't, I mean, maybe he feels healthier, and that is a positive.
Here's the thing, Jeff. You and I won't be alive to know. But the deal is
we'll be buried under a pile of cookies and ice cream.
That's right. Like it says in my will. But the thing is, if this guy makes it to 120 instead of 90. I thought
it said you wanted to be buried on a Sunday, not under a Sunday. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, if this guy makes it to 120 and we make it to 90 and he sat in his tower with his UV gloves on, I'm fine with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think
he's not harvesting too many innocent people.
Yeah, I want to know who these undisclosed sources are. Like, that's a real, like,
where do you go shopping for face fat? You know?
This, you know, the couple of things that really hit me here are what does Talmadge think? Oh, he doesn't like the chocolate. That's like such a PR misdirection. And then the face fat comes from an undisclosed donor because I don't have enough fat. So we have to get it from some. But it's just like, I bet after he did that, he like offered her a mineral water. You know what I mean? To just like, oh yeah, we get it from an undisclosed source. Can I get you? I have sparkling water. It comes out of a tap. Here you go. I can't have it because the carbonation is known to mess with my free radicals, but I love to watch young people drink sparkling water.
Drink it slowly. There is a moment in that 2-hour-long video I watched.
Yeah.
Where someone so the video is this promotional video, or not even promotional, but like a comprehensive video of all the tests he does and his workout regimen, a lot of stuff. But the video is him and his main doctor watching it and doing an audio commentary. Okay. And at one point, the video that they are watching, someone spliced in a scene of Christian Bale in what's the
American Psycho?
American Psycho.
Yeah.
Where he's like putting the face cream on.
Yeah.
And he's like, who did that? Who put that in there? And it's like one of your employees who's desperately trying to send you a message.
Yeah. Or you as a marketing thing to make yourself look fun and relatable. Who put that in there? Who did that?
What?
Who did that? And then the person next to him was like, I'm sorry, sir. You emailed me and you said you wanted shh. Shh.
You're fired.
You're fired. Turn in your keys and your face fat on your way out.
Oh, man. But you know what? I'm still hopeful that this is going to result in something that we can all benefit from, you know?
Hey.
I still feel like he's the first guy to go down in the submarine. He's the dude. He's the guy leaping off the cliff and going, maybe this parachute idea will work.
If his hubris leads to a little bit of knowledge for us, I say great.
Yeah.
I say great. And if and Talmadge, I mean, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Okay. just like,
That's what therapy's for.
you're going to get that money and just make some good friends is what I have to say to you, Talmadge.
I'll get that inheritance just as soon as my dad dies. He's 400 years old.
God, wouldn't that be awesome? Man, imagine that. Imagine like you don't eat the nut butter and your horrible Dracula of a father like lives longer than you.
He's 18 and you look 45.
You're living in like
still 18.
You're living in like an efficiency apartment because you don't have a relationship with him and you're thinking about that money, but you're never going to get that money.
You look like
He's a
George
Dracula.
Burns.
It's an 18
like
again.
And your dad looks like Charlie.
He scientifically did an 18 again to his own kid.
Boom. Boom. Full circle.
This is an award-winning science podcast.
So I think you agree that he's a badass. Chronicles of a Badass. Boom. Did it.
Yeah. Okay. Chronicles of a Dracula. Great.
Wow.
Episode 1. Episode 1, The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. Episode 1. Like the Vampire Lestat, but not cool.
Lestats, more like, am I right? Because he keeps
Vampire stats. Okay, we got to stop. This is it. This man is ridiculous, and we have to end it here. Thanks everybody for listening. Remember, you can support the show if you want to at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns for $1 a month.
Even if you don't want to, you can.
Even if you don't want to, you can and you should, because Jeff's got a personal goal.
100% patronage. That means anybody who has ever heard the sound of our voice gives us at least $1 a month. I don't think that's too much to ask.
For these sultry, professionally trained voices, me.
Name me one other podcast that does 20 minutes on George Burns' oeuvre.
God, I probably listen to 3 of them.
Yeah,
I'll let you know some of them on the Discord if you want to hear. That's at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. And remember that if you give a little more, you get a little more, including bonus episodes, bonus videos, video versions of the show, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So check it out. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Sometimes my camera even works.